Thank you.
So this particular domain has two parts. One is the software development life cycles, and the second part is various attacks that can happen on a software. And as a result, what you need to consider during development, right? You need to keep in mind so that those attacks don't occur. So the first thing is there are concepts like applets, right? So I don't know if you know about applets. Have you heard about this term applets?
Yes,
So
I have.
what does
Yes.
that mean, Sebastian, to you, applets?
So an applet, it's a software that is running on the client side.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
So applet is, instead of saying software, I would just say it's a piece of code. Yeah, so it's more like a, so let's say I open www.microsoft.com. Yeah, and there are so many boxes that will come on the website, right? Those boxes can be a calendar has come up. Those boxes can be a frame has come up, which is like rotating images. Yeah, or let's say there's a folder, there's a box that has come up which has a browse button. Yeah, so you see like these are all small functionalities that are implemented, right, on that page, correct?
Yeah.
And all these functionalities are like small applets. Yeah, these are all applets in a web application if I talk about. Okay, so all these applets, right, they get downloaded to your browser. Okay, they run in your browser and you see a seamless page, right? You see a remarkable, fantastic page, right, which has all these applets embedded in ordered fashion, and then you see a standalone page. Yeah, so that is where the applets come in. So as you rightly said, it is a piece of code that comes to the client side and then gets executed.
Yes.
Now it's a piece of code coming to you and it's executing in your machine, in your browser. So you can imagine the disaster it can create, right? If your browser does not restrict this piece of code to the browser itself, it can actually get to your RAM. It can actually get to your hard disk. It can actually get to your file structure, your programming files, blah and blah. So it is very important that these applets are actually validated, or validate is a wrong word, is actually verified for their authenticity before they are being accepted, correct?
Yeah.
And that is where the concept of digital signatures come in, because digital signatures, right, um, enforce authentication, non-repudiation, and integrity. Basically, when you accept this applet, you want to make sure that it is coming from the right channel. What it is claiming for, it is authentication. Non-repudiation means the channel cannot repudiate in the future that this doesn't belong to me. That's non-repudiation. Yeah, does it make sense, Sebastian?
Yeah, completely.
And the,
Yes,
and
I
the
understand.
last is integrity. I want to make sure that nobody has compromised what is
Nice.
inside this during the travel. Yeah. So from a CISSP mindset point of view, you need to make sure that all these three things are taken care. And the only way these three things are taken care is by the use of digital signatures. Yeah.
Mhm.
Now these applets can exist in the world of Microsoft when you build applications using VB.NET, ASP.NET, C#.NET. And these applets can also exist in the world of Java, right? Where you are using Java beans and JCB and all blah, 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 right? A lot of things there. This is not a programming exam, so we don't need to worry about all that. But it can exist in the Microsoft world. It can exist in the Java world. Now, the good part about Java world is that when these applets are downloaded, yeah, these applets are restricted to something called as a sandbox. So sandbox is like a room which is like have thick walls, right? Very thick walls. So anything that's get downloaded, right, it will be restricted in that sandbox environment only. So forget about browser. Java itself has created a sandbox within that browser. So it will just stick to that sandbox within that browser. Does it make sense?
It's kind of isolation, right?
Yeah, it's like isolation, right? It's like
Yeah,
it's like restriction, right? So that is a good part in Java applets.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But when I talk about ActiveX applets, right, which is ActiveX is the name which is given in the Microsoft world. So we say ActiveX applets, ActiveX controls, ActiveX applets.
Yeah.
So in a VB.NET application, in a ASP.NET application, right, what is coming is actually a ActiveX applet. It's just called as ActiveX applet. And the disadvantage is, or let's say the bad part is that not every time. I mean, this sandbox feature is not there in that Microsoft world.
Okay.
Okay, so Microsoft is
Okay.
actually digitally certifying these ActiveX controls, and not every control is being digitally certified. So you must have seen on your browsers, right? Many times you would have seen these kind of coming up. Do you want to
Yes.
run this ActiveX control?
Yeah.
Yeah, or let's say to help protect your security, Internet Explorer stopped this file installing an ActiveX control. So basically, a applet was coming.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you see in your corporate environment, we have these settings, right? ActiveX controls and plugins. Download is always kept as disabled. Download
Yes.
unsigned is always kept as
Unsigned.
is
Yeah.
very dangerous, right? You should kept
Mm.
it
So the
disabled.
signed should be enabled, right? And
Correct,
the
correct,
unsigned
correct.
should be disabled. Yeah.
So the
Okay.
only question I have seen in the exam is that I mean you have to pick up the option which says you signed ActiveX controls. So that is the only question I've seen in the exams or
Okay.
practice test around this concept. And plus
Yeah.
Java has sandbox thing.
Sandbox. Okay. Yes. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does that sound as an explanation? You're happy with that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I didn't
Same way.
understand the differences. Now I got it. So yes.
Yeah. So
Good.
same way. Okay. I have explained this in the webinar recording.
Yep.
Okay. So this is just a proof of concept I'm sharing with you that is how the webinar recordings will go. And these images, I hope they are there. I don't
Yeah.
recall.
Okay.
Yeah. There. Okay.
Yeah.
And that is where these slides will add to your. So basically, if you see, I think this you can read yourself now. That's fine. This is all done. Okay, prototype, we all understand, man. I'm not getting into it. Then there's
Yeah.
another term called case, computer aided software engineering. So now in today's world, you don't have to write a piece of code for a button, right? There are smart, intelligent software development tools, right? I mean, button is already there. You just need to tell the software, if I press button, what should happen?
Mm. Yeah.
Okay, so you don't write so these are called as
All the
computer
code.
aided software engineering tools, right? These are like smart tools to build your softwares.
Yeah.
Okay, software capability maturity model. How mature are you in terms of developing your software? So if you are at CMM level 5, that means you are like pretty much mature, right? So like companies
Yeah.
like IBM, Accenture, right? They will all be like CMM level 5. Yeah, and CMM level 1 would mean like you're at a very basic level.
Mm.
Yeah. So these are the different levels, right? Level 1 to level 5. Initial means you don't know what you're doing. Repeatable means you know what you're doing, but you can't repeat it. Level 3 means you know what you're doing, you can repeat it, but you have not documented it. Level 4 means you know what you're doing, you can repeat it, you have documented it, and you can manage it properly. And level 5 means that you can do everything, plus you can also continuously improve it using Six Sigma and blah and blah.
Okay. The continuous improvement. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that is where the 5 levels of CMM are.
Yeah.
Now this is a particular this slide I would say is not good to fit here. This is actually a slide for security assessment and testing. And if you see, these are like the blur lines, couple of topics you will always see here and there. Yeah.
Okay. So that's
So
domain 6, right?
yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
basically what
Okay.
this slide says is security system assurance, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, look, the title says, what does it mean? Security system assurance means whether how good the system is on an ongoing basis in terms of security. Assurance means what is the level of assurance, right? So what is the level of security assurance on a system? That's what the slide title means, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that you can get in production, right? Or
Yes.
can you get that on development also? You can put this concept on development also. There is no hard and fast rule. But generally, in a common sense, or I mean a but obvious thing, right? This concept would actually sit on the production environment, right? How good are you in terms of your security when the application is in production? Or it can be on development also. Let me not draw that hard line here. But basically, when you are looking at how good are you, that means you have to plan the features, right? Because what are the features you are going to measure against? Correct? Yes or no? And then when you have looked at the features, you are actually going to test whether those features are working properly or not. Yeah, and if all the features are working properly, you have tested it, then you can certify it. You can say that yes, the application meets my requirement, it meets the policy requirements. Yes, Sebastian?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then finally accreditation. So you can now actually accreditate the application. So accreditation means that you can actually authorize this application for, let's say, rollout in let's say critical infrastructure, or let's say, so accreditation means more like a signing authority that this application is certified, it is fit for purpose to be used in XYZ areas. Or
Okay.
accreditation can also mean, or accreditation can also mean that you approach, let's say some organizations that can actually say that, hey, your application is GDPR certified, your application is ISO 27001 certified. Depending upon the level of testing, yeah, they would actually do a lot of independent testing also, but they can actually accreditate your application, right, to a particular standard, because they are actually internally powered by, let's say, UK accreditation servicing authority, right, to accreditate applications on a particular standard. Does it make sense?
Yeah, so the accreditation is done by...
Accreditation means two things. Accreditation means two things. First thing
Yeah.
is you accreditate to be used in a particular environment.
Yes.
That is accreditation point number one.
But who can do that? The people that are...
So
is
in
it...
the government organization, you have dedicated people who have the power of accreditation, like in Ministry of Defense, right? You will have special roles, right? Who have the
Okay.
power for accreditation. Not everybody can do it, right? So even the CISO cannot do it. You will have a particular person who really is a SME in systems for that particular critical infrastructure. So he has the power to accreditate any software that is being installed in that environment. So that is accreditation number one understanding. Number two understanding is, so like if I talk about BSI, yeah, British Standards Institute, right? So they do ISO 27001 certifications. Yeah. So BSI can actually come to your office and can actually certify you on ISO 27001. But when the BSI certification comes to you, it's more, and when your management accepts it, right? That's more like an accreditation, because they have actually accredited you, and your management has accepted that certification, right?
Okay.
So then management acceptance is a very important word there. And it's not like any Tom, Dick and Harry can accreditate you, right? You need to be firstly accredited yourself to a certified to an accreditation body. Like in United Kingdom, all these certifying companies have to be registered with the United Kingdom Accreditation Service.
Okay. Yep. And what about certification? Then what is the... because
So
I have a little bit the terms.
certification is against a policy. So let me take an example of ISO 27001. Yeah. So let's say ISO 27001 has XYZ requirements. If you meet all the XYZ requirements, that means you are certified. I mean, you are compliant. Let's go one by one, right? One by one. So when you are compliant to a policy, okay, you can apply for certification. And then the certification process goes, and you are certified. But finally, when the certificate comes and then your management accepts it, that is the accreditation. So accreditation always follows certification, and certification always follows compliance.
Yeah, so when compliant, you can apply certification.
Yeah,
and
when
when
you are certified,
certified,
then you can apply for formal certification, or which is more like an accreditation activity.
you can apply for formal certificate. Yeah, I just put a note.
Yeah, no problem.
To become accredited.
Yeah. So basically,
Okay,
it goes one after the other: compliance, certification, accreditation.
Yeah. So when compliant to a policy, you can apply certification. When certified, you can apply for formal certification, which means accreditation.
Yeah, and accreditation also means that the management accepts and promises that we will comply. And it's not like today we get certified, tomorrow we forget about it. Yeah, so we'll comply to the requirements. So they commit to it.
Yeah. Okay, got it. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, then these are like simple things. This is fine. You can pick it up. Software development life cycles. So which one do you don't understand really here?
So the maybe some words on the rapid application development.
Yeah, so I would
Yeah.
actually park this topic because in webinars I have explained this very well.
Okay, fine.
So
Okay.
I'll just give you one concept here. Okay.
Yeah.
So in today's world, we use agile model, right? So agile
Yeah.
means like, I mean, if you ask me like, what is the one thing in agile that I should remember for the exam? The one thing in agile you should remember for the exam is that it is very flexible, as the name suggests.
Yeah.
So, and it's small teams and high-end communication, like your daily scrum meetings, right? Small teams and high-end communication.
Yeah.
Yeah, and incremental model means that you start developing your software, right, in an incremental approach. What does that mean? So let's say you are building a banking application. So there are multiple functionalities, modules like savings, online banking, mortgages, credit cards,
Mm.
right, ISAs, yeah, deposits. So it's not like you will firstly do the savings and then we will go to another one. So you start all these in parallel in an incremental approach, right? So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
start the first one, you take it ahead. Similarly, you start the second one, you take it ahead. And then when you reach a particular level, you start knitting them together.
Mm.
So that is
Yeah.
the incremental model. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's
And
fine.
exploratory, it's I never heard about exploratory, and
Exploratory,
then
nobody knows anything, man. Everybody's exploring.
ah.
Okay. It's like
Okay.
even
So you
client, even
try.
correct. Even client doesn't know what they want. Okay. They just say that
Okay,
they
fine.
just come to
The
you.
jet.
Yeah. So JAD is more
Yeah.
like so in exploratory model, client doesn't know, right, what they
Yeah.
want. But in the joint analysis development, client knows, but you have to explore that, getting into a workshop oriented approach with them. So joint analysis
Okay.
development.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. Yes.
And
Reuse model. That's the name, right? You
yeah,
reuse something that is already there, and the clean room.
clean room is like software being developed for aeroplane, right? You don't want to have defects at a later stage, right? There is no concept of change management there. You do it right first time.
Oh, okay. Doing it right first time. Okay. No CHM. Okay. Yes.
And spiral model, one thing you have to remember is it is iterative, round and round,
Yeah.
round and round, and risk analysis is part of it. Spiral model. So in every round, you give a lot of focus on risk analysis.
Lots. Yeah.
And then all these models are being explained, right? So
Yep. Yes.
so that is all right.
I can just read that. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And then V model has two parts. One is validation, other is verification. So I want you to read these sentences. Validation means, are we building the right product? And verification means, are we building the product rightly?
Yes.
So tell me which one is a macro and which one is micro. So are we building the right product?
Micro, macro, macro. Yeah. Are we building the right product? That's on.
That's more at the product level, whether all the features are there, all the
Yes.
functionalities are there.
So
So
high level.
that is
Yeah.
macro. That is macro.
Yes. Macro.
So
Yeah.
if you have to test that, you will compare your software against what? Against the
The NF. Yes.
high level design document, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. Yep.
And are we building the product rightly? That is verification. That is more like
UAT.
code level, not code, no, UAT. UAT is right product only. It is product rightly means you are actually making sure that the coding standards are being followed. More like a granular things, right? I mean, the proper loops, variables, everything is properly done. Are we building the product rightly?
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
more
So
granular. It's more granular. It's more micro. It's more low level. It's more code level.
it's micro, right?
Yeah, it's micro.
On.
MICRO, micro.
Yeah. MACR. Yeah.
Yeah, and validation is more macro.
MACR. Yes. So
So
that's more.
correct. So if you have to establish verification, right, what would you use? So you would use a low-level design documents which talk about basic schemas, functionalities, right, actual logic, isn't it?
Yep. Yep. Correct.
So
Yeah.
if you
So
see here,
validation, macro, HLD,
correct.
verification on code, micro, LLD. That's my
Correct.
notes.
So
Yes.
correct. So let me draw it here. So basically, this is where your verification comes in. This is where your validation comes in. Make sense?
Yes.
And this is the sandwich. So it's fine. We don't have to put it in one of the baskets. Yeah. So validation and verification. So validation is, are we building the right product? That is more for client to check against the
Yeah.
requirements and specification. Are we building the product rightly? That is more like a developer stuff.
Yeah, but the acceptance testing, that's the UAT, right?
Yeah, that's
Or
the
not?
UST. Yeah, so
Okay. Yeah.
you can call UAT this also. You can call UAT this also.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, acceptance is UAT. You're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that is more in terms of the more like at a system level, right? So,
System level. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yes, makes sense. Good.
okay. So yeah. Okay, incremental.
But, just one question in the bank, which model you use? I mean,
Agile. Everywhere we use Agile.
so
All
now
methods
you're working on Agile. All the other models are not used anymore, or
no, I mean Agile.
no?
Agile actually uses the benefits from all these models. Like if I talk about incremental, like I explained, right? I mean Agile has all user
Yes.
stories, right? And everything is going on in
Yeah.
parallel. So it is actually using incremental, right? And Agile
Okay.
has different
Within the
concepts of correct. So Agile has different concepts of sprint, and each sprint is an iteration. So in a way, it is using Spiral also.
Okay. Yes, I see. Yeah.
And in each sprint, if you put a risk mindset, then risk analysis is also coming into picture.
Yep.
And in each iteration, if you take out a prototype, then it is bringing a prototype model also.
Okay, so it's a combination of all taking all the good parts for the other. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, and then blah blah blah, right? I mean, this modified prototyping model, even I don't know exactly what it means. It's you just need to know these 2 points. So it is ideal for web application development.
Yeah.
It's quick design and release, flexible, grows with organization. So it's really not explained in CISSP, but it's just 1 point mentioned somewhere in the book. So I've just captured it here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is where the Agile is being explained, right? And I've given some free YouTube links here. Okay, so feel free to, so if let's say you are new to Agile, if you're new to Agile, right, there is no harm in checking these videos. It's like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and this is not my credit or CMA credit. This is all credit to the owners of these videos, right?
Yeah.
But I've just included this so it can enhance your learning.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, I'm struggling. I'm an infrastructure guy, and Agile is really the concepts and everything are fine on the software development, but sometimes when you need to apply that somewhere else, it's a bit more tricky. Yeah.
I mean, if I share my experience when I was like you preparing for CISSP, I used to see videos on YouTube because sometimes you get animated videos, sometimes you get all those story videos, right? I mean, that's just brilliant way of learning, right? I mean, it just helps a lot. So such kind of videos, links I have included, which I saw, or maybe over a period of time I've included, right? Because I get participants who have never heard of Agile, right? And it's not like I can really talk about end to end. So it helps in reinforcing also.
Yeah.
So that's fine. That's just a revision, right? And then these are the different types. I think I'll just talk to you about regression tests. What does the regression means to you?
Regression test for me means a test that is done when the software has been had some changes to make sure that the functionality are still there. I mean, the basic functionality has not been impacted by the new change that has been applied.
Yeah, so regression means that you don't want to see any unwanted effects of a change, isn't it? So you're basically, I don't know, you are in Spain, isn't it?
No, Denmark. Denmark.
In Denmark. And do you have that concept of MOT in Denmark?
Oh, you're breaking now. I'm sorry. Hello?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now it's better.
Hello?
Yes. Yeah, it's better.
Yeah. So what I was saying is, do you have that concept of MOT in Denmark also, where your car goes for an MOT check every year, or no? That
Yes,
model.
yes, yes, yes. Soon. Yeah. Yes, we do.
So what do they do in MOT? What is your view? What do they do in MOT?
They have a cahier of charge, meaning that they have some requirements they need to check, so the car is validated to be proper functional to be able
Correct.
to drive it.
Correct. So there is a standard checklist, right? And
Yeah,
they run through that checklist like car seat belts, and then your brake pads, and then your condition of the tires, and then handbrake pullover, right? So they look at all these things and they make sure that all this is in working order so that they can certify the car as fit for
it's
roads,
for,
correct?
yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yeah,
so what they're doing is actually they're doing regression tests.
yeah,
Okay. They're
you're
actually
right.
running couple of tests and then they're making sure that the car is absolutely fit for purpose, right? So that's what regression test is to me personally, right? That's how I
Yeah,
relate
yeah,
it.
yes,
So basically you can run regression test and you don't have to wait for a change to do a regression test. Regression test you can do every day.
you're right. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
I mean,
yeah,
if of course, if a change comes in, you should do regression test, right? You should make sure that everything is tested so that the lights are working, horn is still working, car is still moving ahead, right? And you know why regression test is important, because in big organizations like I mean, I don't want to say any names here, but basically you got multiple development teams, right? There are teams in India, there are teams in Singapore. Who knows, in the night someone has made a change and your application in the United States has got impacted, right? So that is where the regression test becomes pivotal, right? Very important that these are actually done on a daily basis, or let's say whenever at least there's a change that has gone through. So I hope with that MOT example, right, you will just relate it and just keep in mind that I mean, and it's very important. Okay, regression test. I mean, people don't really understand meaning the use of regression test. They always relate it to a change, but it's much more than a change.
mm.
I mean, from my
How is
experience in
it?
banking. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, how is it initiated? You say that okay, if something changed, so through change management, then they do a
Correct.
regression test.
Correct. Like I'll tell you in my experience. So in
Yeah,
banking and all, right, I mean, we got very high-end critical applications, right? And these critical applications, every day regression test is done. Every day, every
okay.
day.
So
So in
that's
the night,
planned every day at a certain
no, no. I
point
mean,
of
there are
time.
there are some
Oh,
there are some automated scripts that are written that run at two
ah,
o'clock
okay.
in the
Yes.
night
Yeah.
every day, right? Some. So it's like a checklist of tests, like MOT. And
Yeah.
then every morning, 7 o'clock, the system owner will get an email saying that regression tests have passed or
A
failed.
pass or fail. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yes.
here you had the smoke test as well. What is
Smoke
the?
test, smoke test and regression test means the same. So,
Okay. I
so
thought it was
smokes,
different.
no,
Okay.
I mean, to me, they mean the same. Of course, if we just try to investigate more, we may draw out some differences, but it means the same from a CISSP standpoint.
Okay. I thought it was more targeting to a specific functionality, and the regression will actually take the full checklist. I was in my head the smoke test was a part of the regression test, but that might be wrong.
Possibly,
Yes.
no, no, no. I think what
Ah,
you said, it makes sense to me, because smoke is like actually a smoke is coming from a
yes.
particular area, so you focus
Yeah.
your attention there.
Yeah.
But then that is your priority of test, right? Smoke test is a priority test, and you can include that as part of your regression, and you must include as part of your regression,
Yes. 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 Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, so that's it. I think you know smoke test, right? So it's more like a particular smoke coming from a particular part, right? And you want to put all your efforts in testing that area,
Yeah.
and then it should be
Exactly.
part, and then you must run your regression test, and regression test you should include the smoke test,
The smoke test. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
right?
Good.
So another one is static analysis and dynamic analysis. Static means application is not running, you are just looking at the code, right? So it's more like a dry code review, static.
Static dry code review. Yeah.
Yeah. And dynamic analysis means that your application is actually running, it is in the memory now, and
Yeah.
then you can actually see the real time how the application is responding and behaving and running and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we move on to fuzzing. You know what? Let me just check how many slides we have in this domain. So we got 83 slides. So that's fine. Let's do 40%, 50% today. and then remaining 50 I'll give you, because I don't want to run through also, because that will just, and in fact, that will give you an opportunity to finish this webinar recording and then come
Exactly.
back with your questions and then reinforce what I'm saying.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, so fuzzing. So fuzzing, I mean, to me, I mean, we don't have to read the slides. Okay, that's not the objective. Fuzzing means you're actually trying to play with the system, right? So let's say you sit in a new car, yeah, and you don't know how the wipers will be on, right? And then you press all the button, blah, blah, blah,
Yes.
right? You're just trying to
To
do something, right?
yes.
And
Yeah.
and
To
and
fake it.
correct. And what
Yeah.
happens? And what happens because you have pressed the wrong button? You have actually lowered your steering wheel to a really low level, and now you cannot drive the car.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, you have actually launched an attack on the car now, right? Isn't it? Right. So the
Yes.
same, because you have actually made the car in a condition
In the
now that
state.
it cannot be driven now, because you have lowered the steering wheel, and now you don't know how to put it back. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's like a fuzzing attack, right? You actually start playing with the application, and then you change the configurations, and then you make them. I mean, in a way you try to, so so basically it can be used in a positive manner also and in a negative manner also, right? So
Mhm.
negative manner is like the example I gave you, right? So it can actually make this less usable, right?
Yeah.
And in a positive manner, you can actually find out like how a user can actually get into the wrong side of things and create problems for themselves.
Mhm. I have one question here. The fuzzing technique, or if we can call that a technique, is that then more on on the SDLC? So when you do your development of software, what about fuzzing on production? Do you do that usually in practical?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
None of these topics I would actually draw a hard line that this is a development
No.
topic or
Okay.
this is a product. So
Yeah.
let's be above that boundary. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Fine.
And these topics these are just concepts, right? And you can
Yeah.
apply them anywhere, right? So
Okay.
it is just the act of sending random data to the target program in order to trigger failures.
Yes. Okay.
So that's the
Got it.
key concept here in terms of
Yeah.
fuzzing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I give you another example here, to trigger failures, right? So basically, let's say you have an application, and that application is used to, let's say, uh, do loan processing. Yeah, let's say that application is used to process your mortgages,
Mhm.
right? And then you try to uh, enter create different forms or different applications, right? I mean, some of these applications have some garbage information also, right? Where there is a buffer overflows happening, where there is a SQL query that is mentioned, where there is a mandatory fields are not completed, but still the application is successfully saved, right? So you see, you're trying to actually send garbage information to the application, and then you see like how the mortgage processing will behave. Will
Mhm.
this create a failure alerts, or will this successfully create a pass? So it's like a useful technique also, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right? It is actually helping you to trigger failures, right? In order to trigger failures. So don't think that fuzzing is a negative approach. It can
Mm.
be used in a positive manner also.
Yeah.
Okay, so you will see in the exam, and you will be surprised that use a fuzzing technique to support this particular thing,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
that's valid. Yeah. Okay. Also.
right.
Yeah.
So if you see, the last part is a positive part here. Fuzzing tools are commonly successful at identifying buffer overflows, DOS
Yes.
vulnerabilities, injection weaknesses, right?
Yeah.
Okay, a simple example calculator. 5 plus 2 minus 3 divided by 4 multiplied by 600 divided by 3 into 4. Do you think calculator will give you the result? Let's see what it gives. I don't know. But does it
Mm.
give you like an alert? That is more important, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Instead of giving you a wrong result, because wrong result is really important,
Yeah.
is not acceptable.
It's
It should give you
yeah.
an. Okay, maintenance hook is all about there is a backdoor entry into your application, and that has a administration level privilege.
Mm.
Okay, it is more dangerous than a backdoor because it has an admin access, admin privilege.
Okay, so the backdoor don't necessarily have admin access.
Correct,
That's what you
correct,
mean, right?
correct, correct,
So
correct,
this
correct,
one.
correct.
Maintenance
So now,
hook.
now the exam question is, how would you prevent maintenance hook? Or how would you detect maintenance hook? Sorry, I will just take a yawn here.
How do
Morning
you
time.
detect a backdoor? Yeah,
Yeah, how would you
that's the
detect a
question, right?
backdoor? That's a question for you. Yeah.
But we need to analyze the code, right? We need to understand the code.
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Yes.
So I think couple of things you can do, right? You can do source code reviews, but that's a very expensive exercise.
Yeah.
Right? It's not easy to find out. The other thing is always go for the assurance level ratings, which are like common criteria ratings. I hope you have read it in security analysis.
Yes, and I have questions on that area, so that's
Right?
on my question.
So you
Yeah.
have like, you don't get those ratings easily, right? I mean, all those covert channels, and that is where the
Yeah.
backdoor entries are being analyzed, right? So go for a common criteria, good rating, challenge the vendor on that, and go for good products, right? Like SAP, right, which are like quite popular in the market, and they have like proper QA teams and auditors, right? And so these are, I think, assurance, right? And or you can ask them for a third-party assurance report, like a SOC 2 report, right? And then make sure that that the SOC 2 report includes the control on maintenance hook, right? There is no maintenance hook in the application, right? So a couple of
Okay.
things. These are the kind of things you can actually even challenge on.
So code, common criteria rating, assurance, third-party assurance, SOC 2, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Okay. Yes. But code review is not easy, of course.
Yeah,
Time consuming. Yeah.
yeah. And plus, it's very difficult to understand code if it is not properly commented.
Exactly. Yes. Yep. Good.
Okay, 0-day vulnerability means that vulnerability nobody knows about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's fine. Change control. I mean, if I ask you like, what is the most important thing that you definitely want to see in a change process? What is that? Fundamental risk mindset thing that should
I think
definitely be taken care in a change management process.
documentation approval.
Okay, still I don't get what I need.
No. Okay. We'll try again.
No, let me say,
Yeah.
okay, no,
Yes.
I think I said in a wrong
But
manner. Let me say it
yeah.
again. Basically, what is that fundamental thing, right? Without which you just cannot go ahead.
Authorization. Right authorization. Right.
Okay, let me give you my answer and then you
No. Okay.
tell me. Create a rollback plan.
Mhm. Okay. Yes. So you can revert.
You may have taken authorization, you may have done testing, you may have done
Yes.
hundreds of things, but
Yeah.
still things can go wrong.
Yeah.
Always have a rollback plan. That is, if you ask me, go and audit a change management process, the first thing I look for is, do you have a practice of creating a rollback plan? Rest is all housekeeping. Do you agree? Yes
Or
or no, Sebastian?
yeah. I completely agree. But yes,
And
it's good. But
you are an infrastructure guy, right? So has anybody
yes.
challenged you on those things before?
Yeah. Of course. All the time.
Okay, okay,
Like
okay.
oh,
So my profession is I'm a mix of an auditor and a risk consultant.
yes. Yeah.
So my like more time, my more than 70% I'm an auditor, right? So I'm more control driven. I'm more like a risk and control specialist.
Yes. Yeah.
So all the time I'm thinking about where things can go wrong.
Yes.
So, and I think CISSP is less of an auditor mindset, but auditor and a risk mindset, they are like hand in hand. You cannot be an auditor if you don't understand risk.
Yeah.
Correct. So it's a very strong um, hand in hand. Okay.
Buying. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Bond.
Okay. Privacy risk assessment. This concept I never understood properly till the time GDPR came out.
Yeah.
And after GDPR came out, I actually understood like why it is so important. And when I started delivering this as a client service in terms of creating some tools around these things. So basically, privacy is all about data, isn't it? I mean, if you talk about your social security numbers, your passport numbers, which can actually uniquely identify you, it's like private data to you. My date of birth. Do you think date of birth is private data?
No.
No.
You can find it on social.
No, not that. But
No.
date of birth does not. But date of birth does not uniquely identifies you.
No. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now I got it. Yeah.
So do you
So
think your
it's
mobile number is private data?
yeah. It could. Yes. It can identify you.
I mean,
but
it can identify you if, let's say, you know the company to which that number belongs to, because then via them you can come to you, right? I mean,
yes,
or let's say a social engineering call is being made and your name is being found out.
yeah,
But if I talk about mobile number and on its own,
no,
in a garbage
no,
of, let's say, 1 million mobile numbers, it doesn't
yeah,
mean
no,
anything to me,
no, exactly, yes, yeah,
right?
yeah,
But if I say mobile number with my last name, do you think now it is a private number?
yes,
It is to a certain extent, right? Because
okay,
actually you can start narrowing down, isn't it? Because let's say if my mobile number is there and you know, right, that person is, let's say, his surname was, let's say, XYZ,
yeah.
then you can actually start narrowing down. And more data fields come together, right? It actually becomes a private record.
So that's why you have these three categories, right?
Correct.
Low, moderate, and
Now you
high.
got it.
Okay.
Now you got
Yes.
it, right?
Yeah.
So let's say mobile number, you may put it as a moderate privacy risk in its own
Yeah.
as a standalone. But
Yes.
then let's say you have mobile number and first name and last name, you want to put it as high privacy risk.
Yes.
Or
Okay.
let's
I
say, for
got it.
example, you have only date of birth, it's a low privacy risk.
Yeah. Yes.
You have
That's a good way to put it. Okay. Thank you. I don't think I grasped that one either. So yes, good.
Yeah. So similarly, let's say you have your passport numbers, right? I mean, standalone passport can be moderate, but passport number with a last name is a high privacy risk now. Okay, attack surface analysis is like, so let's say you go in a war, okay, WAR, and you are only wearing a bullet jacket. There is no bullet pants, so anybody can shoot you on your legs, isn't it, Sebastian? Right.
Yep.
So attack surface analysis is all about you do an analysis of your clothes, right, where I can be easily attacked, right? So apply the same in a software. You do an analysis in terms of which all places things can go.
Abhi,
Is it like
Abhi, you are breaking. So I'm not sure
breaking?
now if it's yes.
Okay,
So
hold
it
on.
could
Let me
be
just.
my girls are awake, so it could be that they are.
No, possible. Let me remove my. Give me 1 minute. Let me. Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Is it much better
I
now?
heard. Yeah, it's much better. I heard about the bullet in the legs, and then after it went completely, scrambled. So
Yeah, no problem. So 1 minute. Can you hear me now?
yes, I can.
Okay, so you can hear me, but I don't think my headphones are working right now.
Okay, so you cannot hear me. Hello?
I can hear you, but the voice
Okay.
laptop. So is it like same good or is it like better? I mean, is it like
No, now it's you don't have the mic, so it's really bad. So I think you need to put the
okay, so now it's better.
Yes, much better. So you use your mic, but maybe
Okay,
the
I
headphone
think
is
that's
not
just a
working.
setting. Maybe and is my picture flicking?
Yes, it does. So you can maybe remove the video, maybe gain some bandwidth.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And give me 1 sec. I think there's something which is missing here. So okay, so select a speaker. I would select Zebra. Yeah.
Oh, Abhi,
Hmm.
one thing maybe you could add to to-do list as well is to make sure that I'm part of the webinar, because you send me another link today.
No. So once you register for that, you are now automatically registered for all the webinars.
Ah, okay. That was only today that I was not on the list, right?
Yeah. So now you
okay.
are now you will be part of all the webinars now.
Of the women. Okay,
Yeah.
super, good.
And
Yeah.
if you are not, if you're not, just keep this link safely. It's the same link for for all the,
Okay,
because I
fine.
always create a copy of the webinars.
Yeah. Okay, good.
So attack surface analysis is all about understanding, like, I mean, okay, so basically I was telling you like bulletproof, right? All that, right?
Yeah.
So basically you analyze your clothes, right? Where you can be attacked. Similarly, in a software, you analyze, right? Which all areas you can be attacked. Maybe you can be attacked from the job scheduling standpoint. Maybe you can be attacked in terms of the usage of protocol standpoint. Maybe you can be attacked in the usage of services standpoint. Maybe
Yeah.
you can be attacked at the point of data entry, right? So you attack surface analysis means that you're trying to analyze the attack surface from where all attacks can come on a software. It can be files, registry, session, processes, blah, 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 right? So that's it, nothing else. Make sense? So how would you
Yeah.
detect this? How would you detect this? By doing
On
pen
this.
testing, by doing penetration testing, by doing vulnerability assessment, by doing source code reviews, right?
Yeah.
Basically, you're trying by doing fuzzing, right? That can actually help you, isn't it?
Yes.
And this is how you need to ask the question yourself, Sebastian, and ask, can you relate the topics? Can you, I mean, in CISSP, don't stick to a small picture. You need to think broad.
Yeah, that's where I need
Correct.
this mentoring. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I think this is all fine. Fine. Okay, I think let's park it here, because in the next class, then I'll take you through all these attacks, which is the second part of it.
Okay, fine. Because I had a question on the time I talked to this
Yeah,
one time of check.
we can do that. Talk to right now. That's fine. It's
Yes.
fine. I mean, that's fine. So basically, time of check and time of use. Okay. Now, it is not reverse. It is not time of use and time of check. I know in practice questions sometimes they ask those stupid options. Right? It is always talk to. Okay, so it is time of check, time of use. Okay, so that is point one. Yeah.
Yep.
So let's say, for example, you open a file on your laptop. Okay, so let me show you an example. So let's say show the desktop, and let's say, for example, okay. So are you able to see my desktop? Isn't it?
No, I see the presentation.
Okay, so now you can see
Now.
my desktop, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say this is a recycle bin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if I double click it, correct?
Yeah.
So what is happening? Firstly, I'm double clicking it. And then secondly, Windows is checking whether I have authorization to open this folder or not. Correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Now it's a recycle bin, right? Everybody will have access to it. Yeah. I mean, Windows will allow access to nearly all the users. So when I double click it, my recycle bin will open, right? It's coming
Yeah.
on the other slide, right?
Yeah.
So what the attacker will use, so basically there is a time of check and time of use. So time of check means I double clicked it and Windows is checking whether I am authorized to use it or not. So that is a
Yeah.
time of check, correct? And
Yes.
time of use means that it has opened up, correct?
Yes.
So let's say 2 seconds were spent in checking and then 2 seconds were spent in opening up,
Yeah.
correct? Now what the attacker will do is, so attacker will come and attack this time sequence. So the check will be done, but then it is actually opening up. It will actually replace it with the password file.
Okay. Yes.
So that means time of check was done on the recycle bin, but then what I opened was a password file, because the attacker actually compromised the sequence here and replaced this recycle bin with a password file. And I will
Password.
never, and let's say, for example, if he has hijacked your screen at that time, he can actually see the passwords. So that is called as a talk to attack time. I mean, the attacker is actually attacking you between the time of check and time of use.
So between two processes.
Between
Yeah.
two
Okay.
processes.
Yeah.
So what's the control? How would you prevent it?
How could I prevent that one? Is to block the access of the process, to isolate that kind of.
So basically, the control is to lock both these events in one
Yeah.
task,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
To make it as a batch instead of putting it as different tasks in the code, right? Put it as a batch.
At the batch. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
So you cannot insert anything in
Correct.
between these two. Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah.
And also in the time of use, right? Get a cross reference that it is that throughout the time of use, the status of check is on the same file
Fine. Yeah.
as a success check, as a successful check.
Yeah. Okay. And now another, maybe a following question. Then what about what is the difference with the race attack then?
Yeah. So race condition is slightly different then. So here what is happening is that the attacker is actually jumping between time of check and time of use.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And now let me explain you the race condition. So the race condition is where okay. So how to put it now? Okay, forget this example. Okay.
Yeah.
So recycle bin goes away. Okay. So we come back to our slides. So in the race condition, what happens is now let's say, for example, authentication means you enter your username and password and the system accepts you. Correct. That is authentication.
Yeah.
Authorization means what you can do in the system.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Now you will agree with me that authorization always comes after authentication.
Yes.
But what if the system authorizes you before even you are authenticated?
That's
That's
the flow.
nonsense, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is what race condition is, because an attacker can actually flip over the sequence of tasks.
Okay. Yes.
So
I get it.
it can actually make someone which was about to come last as someone to come first.
First. Yeah.
And that is where the race condition has been flipped over. Because in Windows, right? I mean, there was a race, right? And race was something like this: that first authentication will come, and then only the authorization can come. So it's like a race in which authentication has to win always.
Mm.
But the attacker actually came and made authorization win first. So that's like a race condition being flipped over.
And how do you prevent that? Also in
Again, similar concept,
process.
similar
Yeah.
concept,
Okay.
not to split up the tasks.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and if you see, this is where like this slide's gonna help you. You will never see this in any of the slide spec across the world. I'm telling
No.
you.
Yeah.
And that is the difference between race condition and talk to attack.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. So now you read
Yes.
it and then you confirm me whether it makes sense or not. Because
Yeah.
this is
Okay. Yeah.
read it then.
Yeah. Yeah. It's exactly to the point. Yes. Thank you.
And this is exactly my own language that is on the slide.
Yes.
Okay.
And it helps. Yep.
Okay. So and I think this is where like I mean, look, I'm not trying to market something, but I just want you to appreciate that lot of places you will actually see just to the point concepts here,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because there is no fun in doing a 4-page reading on talk to. It's not required, man.
Yeah. No. Exactly. Yeah.
Correct. You just need to know what this it means and how does it differs from race condition.
Yeah.
And honestly, it is Sean Harris' book that will explain you this. No other book will explain you this.
Okay. Yeah.
And because I have read Sean Harris, so all these my examples are also from Sean Harris. Majority of things will be from Sean Harris.
Yeah. I read a little bit the critics on the book, and they come also really good on explanation and consistency. So it's really nice. Yeah.
So I think let's just recap here, right? So I'm gonna send you this Excel spreadsheet, okay?
Yes.
And these actions I will complete by end of today, right? Let's put it like that.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
good. Yeah.
Keep storing all data, keep downloading and storing, okay?
Yep.
And
Yes.
or at least start putting emails as a tracker, yeah. So generally, Sebastian, we don't allow participants to download the slides. Is it all right? Right? I mean, if I share with you the Google Drive links, but that will be a view access, and you will be able to flip over.
Okay. I cannot, but I can print from there or not?
Yeah, you can print it out. That's fine.
Okay, but I cannot download.
Yeah, this is just to avoid because this is just to avoid. Otherwise, these slides will be all over the place.
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. Yes.
Yeah. So same goes for the recording webinars also. So I'm gonna share with you the view access. Okay. So it will just easily load up in a browser, and you will be able to check it out.
Yeah, but I'm fine with that. I understand why. Yes.
Yeah. And then these things I will share with you as downloads. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yep.
And Okay, so you're comfortable with the approach?
Yes, I am. Yes.
Yeah, happy about things?
Really happy and really happy
Okay,
that I jumped into the program. So I'm really good. So
no
yep.
problem. Excellent. So look, man, I'm committed and we'll just make sure it is done for you. Okay, and
Yes.
complete this study plan. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna share this file with you. So let me share it, save it as Sebastian, right? I'll just save it and send it to you.
Yeah,
Okay,
that would
so
be good.
let me spend last 15 minutes in getting these things organized. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I will leave you
Yes.
here. Okay,
Yeah.
and connect next Saturday. And of course, I'll add you to the WhatsApp group, and in return, you will get my WhatsApp number also.
Yeah, that would be super good. Thank you very much,
Okay,
Abhi. I appreciate all your effort, and
no problem.
I'm also committed to finalize this. So
Yeah,
let's
let's make it. Let's do it,
yeah,
man. Let's do it. Okay.
yes, we do that.
Okay, you
Super.
just remember the single biggest mistake you can make is stops not to study.
Yeah.
Just don't
Yes.
stop studying. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Agree.
Okay.
Completely agree. Yep.
All right. I leave you here. Okay. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you
Cheers.
very much. You too. Have a
Cheers,
good
man.
weekend. Bye
You
bye.
too, man. You too.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye bye. Bye.